Hey guys, welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer, and I've got another great Giallo hit for us. It is Luciano Ercoli's 1972 masterwork, Death Walks at Midnight. And guys, if you like the last review I did, this one just as great, so we're in for a great one. Let's get this one started here. Here is Death Walks at Midnight. Death Walks at Midnight is a highly entertaining Giallo film with enough style and substance to entertain any fan of the genre. Directed by Luciano Ercoli, an underappreciated auteur of Italian cinema, the movie tells a thrilling story about drugs, hallucinations, deception, and murder. With an interesting premise and an enthralling cast, Death Walks at Midnight is anything but an average run-of-the-mill Giallo. The film follows a beautifully young fashion model by the name of Valentina, after she volunteers to test out an experimental drug for some quick cash. While under the effects of the drug, she witnesses a grisly murder being committed, where the killer pummels a woman in the face with a spiked metallic glove. Fearing for her life, she goes to the police, but unfortunately no one, including the inspector, seems to believe her wild story. To make matters even worse, Valentina begins seeing the killer everywhere she goes, forcing her to come to realize that she is next on his hit list. Will she be able to convince the police before it's too late, or is there a greater scheme at work that not even Valentina can fathom? Be prepared for a Giallo that isn't afraid to punch the viewer in the face, with a spiked glove no less. Neves Navarro plays the role of Valentina, the hunted fashion model who desperately tries to put the pieces of the puzzle together in this entertaining little thriller. Having recently been introduced to Navarro's work in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I knew I was in for a treat. She has that cinematic beauty that literally forces you to take notice, and in Death Walks at Midnight, she's given ample opportunity to show us what she can do with that undivided attention. Her portrayal of Valentina is stunning, and she gives the character so much spirit and energy that I found it impossible to unglue my eyes from her captivating and sympathetic performance. Throughout the entire film, Valentina is traumatized to the brink of insanity after being relentlessly pursued by the killer and a few other shady characters that pop up as the movie moves along. Admittedly, it does get a little tedious seeing this woman go through hell over and over again, and having no one believe a word she says, but with Navarro playing the lead, she makes it more than bearable and especially tantalizing. Filling out the male roles of this film are Simon Andrew as Gio Baldi and Pietro Martellanza as Stefano. Both actors play the same sort of role, with them being attached to Valentina in some way, shape, or form. What is also interesting about the two is that they each have the potential to be in on the sick events that are happening to the young woman. Gio especially has his hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, because it was under his guidance that the drug experiment was performed, which resulted in Valentina seeing the murderer and then eventually getting mixed up in this horrible situation. Stefano is equally under suspicion because of his erratic behavior. He goes from being a sweet and caring boyfriend to a raging drunk in between scenes, and we never really get a real handle on his character's motivations. The presentation of these two roles is a perfect example of the genre's use of red herrings, and this film has a great deal of capable figureheads. It's this mysterious aspect of the film that really nails the tone and atmosphere that is needed to pull off a successful Giallo, and Death Walks at Midnight does it beautifully. Not only do we get red herrings from the two characters of Gio and Stefano, but we're given another exceptional and ambiguous one in the form of Verushka Ruttenberg, played by the lovely Claude Lang. Her character appears and disappears as frequently and sinisterly as the killer himself, always leaving Valentina questioning the woman's intentions. Claude does a great job in bringing a haunting feeling to her role. I've seen her in a number of films, with Crossplot being my absolute favorite of her work, and she is anything but brooding and downtrodden in those efforts. But in Death Walks at Midnight, she brings a melancholy performance that just screams paranoia and frightening madness. Combined with all of these great characters is an atmospheric quality that Luciano Ercoli blankets the film in. There is an unsettling tone to the movie that is only enhanced all the more by the surreal aspects of the film's visual approach. The very concept of Valentina seeing a murder while under the influence of an experimental drug is a great comparison to how the rest of the film unfolds. And Ercoli takes this aesthetic and runs with it. The reactions from the various people that Valentina interacts with don't exactly seem genuine and logical, forcing us to question those people's loyalty to our forlorn heroine. This is not a technique that is new to the genre, for almost every Giallo film in existence seems to have this specific atmospheric tone when dealing with the characters of their story. But Death Walks at Midnight just seems to do it with an added bit of style. As usual for these types of flicks, the gore is extreme and the violence is excessive, which combines perfectly with the vivid atmosphere and surreal take on the genre. This is definitely one Giallo entry that begs for a wider audience. Death Walks at Midnight is an exceptionally fun and suspenseful addition to the large output of mystery-styled Italian thrillers that came out during this time period. Having Neves Navarro in the lead only helps to solidify its appeal, but the inclusion of a solid story and interesting characters really raises this movie to the top of the heap of Giallos. With its visceral violence and penchant for pain, the movie doesn't shy away from what makes this genre of film so captivating and raw. With a bloody spike glove, the film smashes you in the face with haunting imagery and surrealistic-infused moments that take your mind for a whirl, and the fact that the film is wrapped up rather logically in the end, which by Giallo standards is unheard of, makes for another plus. Death Walks at Midnight is a real treat, and one hell of a gorgeous Giallo. Gorgeous indeed. Well guys, that was Death Walks at Midnight, a great Giallo. I hope you enjoyed that one, because that's one of my favorite ones. I really like that flick. That's it for me today. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And I hope you enjoyed the visuals. And if you guys like what I'm doing here, please let me know. Please like and subscribe below. Hey, leave a comment while you're at it. Love to hear from you. But until then, guys, I will see you at the next movie review. Take care.